Draft night is over, at least round one, and oh my goodness, did we have, in my opinion, quite a lot of shocking picks and trades, and we're going to get right into that today. So I went ahead and I'm going to grade every team's night one. The Mavs obviously is S. You did what you needed to do. Then if I'm the Spurs, you're also an S. I love that Carter Bryant fell right into their lap. Like literally it was like a match made in heaven. Now you've got, you've got Dylan Harper. You've got Carter Bryant. This future is bright in San Antonio, and I'm loving the way that this team is kind of rounding out. Now, if you want to, you can try and move Keldon Johnson. You can do a bunch of different things now if you're the Spurs, so I think this is automatically like an incredible move. Then I've got the Sixers, and this is a weird one because they ended up going with VJ, right, because they sort of not crumbled, but they gave into the idea, right, that Ace didn't want to play for him, and they didn't want to, waste time adding drama of, oh, this guy doesn't want to play for us, this guy doesn't want to be here, so why are we wasting our time with this? Okay, that's fine. That guard room is stacked. I'm just not sure how it's all going to work out. Maybe you make McCain the sixth man, but I'm just going to be real. I think it's an A. Maybe an S, but we could get back to that. I still love VJ. He's still probably one of my favorite prospects in this draft. The Hornets are an interesting one, too, because the Hornets traded away Mark Williams, and they ended up getting Con Knippel, and they ended up getting Liam McNeely. And I love both picks, but I feel like they're a little redundant. And now you have no big, really. I mean, it's Nurkic, I guess. And then Diabate, if you're really trying to stick with him. And I like him. I think he's a great, backup center, but I'm going to give him a B. I do like what they are going for, though, because I think they saw last year, maybe they looked at Detroit's formula of adding shooters and spacers and saw how much Cade flourished of like, okay, maybe we can try and have LaMelo not be as taxed to be a scorer and get back to what everybody loved about him in, the draft buildup, which was the playmaking. Again, though, now that you traded Williams and you didn't draft another big, and maybe you could get one in the second round, I guess. But for right now, off of round one, I'm going to say a B because it just feels a little repetitive. Now you have a gaping issue at center. But I do like what they went for here. The Utah Jazz, I'm going to give them a lot of credit because they had a lot of balls to do what they did last night. Because Ace Bailey, right? I talked about this in my last video, was like, I don't want to play here. I'm good. Hard pass. And Danny Ainge sat in that war room, with his scouting department, all his people. And he said, no, we don't care. Quite frankly, we need a scoring punch. That's allegedly your whole deal. And we're going to take you. They also traded to get Walter Clayton. I kind of get the point of that one. I feel a little weird about it. Just because, again, it's like, I'm not mad at it because, again, you're going for scoring punch. Now, again, Clarkson, Sexton, these dudes got to go. Because otherwise, you got Collier, Keontae George, Sexton, Clarkson. Now you have Walter Clayton. You've got a log jam of guards. I feel like it's a little redundant. So because of that, I'm going to go B. I like the picks both teams made, per se. I just think when you then look at the positional depth and some of the moves they made that lost that positional depth, I'm a little confused. Then we have Washington, who ended up getting Trey Johnson, and they got they got Will Riley. So they got a wing, and they got their guard of the future. And for that, and I think you have to put them in S. I like they picked up Will Riley. I like that they got again another guard. Maybe they can still get a big in the second round. It gets harder the 5. Maybe they make some trade, right? Because you've got Brown. You've got a bunch of pieces that can move to try and get a center. So I still like what Washington ended up going with here. And I think it was still, again, all things considered, a pretty smart move. Now, this one is where things get a little hot. The New Orleans Pelicans and the Brooklyn Nets I'm going to put in the same tier. To me, I think they are both Fs. Now, I know what you're thinking. But Emster, why? So here's the thing. I love Jeremiah Fears. I absolutely do. But now I've got Jordan Poole. I've got Jordan Hawkins. I've got a bunch of guards that I basically just traded for. And now I'm adding another guard who, I mean, it's just been sort of clear, to be honest. A lot of these dudes at New Orleans drafts at guard, they don't really get that time to try and grow. And again, they did that, but then they also, again, this pick is just so weird to me. And then they got Derek Queen. And I'm not opposed to that, but it feels redundant because you have Zion. So you have two bigs that aren't that good defensively. This to me is just very weird. I'm just not a fan of the fit, and I get why they did it. They took the best available with Jeremiah Fears. That's fine. It's a little weird because of the guard room and everything, sure. And maybe because of that I can move up to C, but again, because you just did this draft and you traded for Derek Queen and you gave up your first round pick for the next year when you're not probably going to be that good in a competitive West, unless you're trading Zion and you're about to get a whole bunch of picks back and it don't matter, so then you wanted to run Derek Queen and Jeremiah Fears as your future, I will come back and apologize, and you got it. But if Zion's staying, I don't understand what New Orleans just did here. You just gave up your next year's pick. To me, this is bad. And then Derek Queen, I don't really think he's going to be, I don't know. I just don't like him next to Zion. It's a whole lot of weird fit. The Brooklyn Nets didn't trade a pick. I'm not mad at them not trading, by the way. Some people I've seen are mad that they didn't make a trade for a pick. Here's my thing. You drafted a lot of the same thing. You got Ben Seraph, Danny Wolf, Nolan Traore, Drake Powell, and you got Igor Demon, who, by the way, you didn't have to reach on Igor at 9 or 8. I don't know also why you celebrated him like you just drafted peak Nikola Jokic or Giannis Antetokounmpo or Steph Curry. But my only problem is they drafted a lot of the exact same archetype. I have no problem actually with them getting Danny Wolf. I get it. Like, will it all translate? Sure, that's fine. But he's on a team where he can try and grow and develop. But Igor, Nolan, a lot of these dudes operate the same where they need the ball, but they also like to distribute more, and there's a lack of shooting from a lot of these prospects. So now it's like, what in the hell do you do? So for me, I'm going with an F. And now, again, I also understand why they kept all the picks. To me, that's not the problem. Again, I think if you do have a problem with that, I think that's a little unfair because you have to throw your darts at the board. There's no guarantee, right? Like, there's a chance none of these picks work out, but there's also a chance one dude is a perennial all-star player, you got a superstar player somehow, or you got a great piece for your future that could be your number 3, number 4, right? Like, that can be a part of your future, just isn't the guy. You have to throw your darts at the board. I just think they got a little overly repetitive, and I think that hurt them a lot. I could have gone with Cedric Coward at 8, could have gotten Demon at 19, then could have drafted Danny Wolf, Ben Seraph. You could have moved in that direction. That would have been fine. It would have been a little weird, but at that point, you got something. But now you kind of stacked up your guard room, and I'm just like, but so many of you play the same, except for Cam Thomas, and he needs the ball because off the ball, that's not really his thing. So then it's just like, where is this all going to go? It feels a little odd to me. All right, I'm just going to be honest. Then we got Colin Murray Boyles to Toronto. I'm not mad at this pick. I think it is a little funny because of that video that went on Twitter. If you saw it, you know what I'm talking about. I'm not mad about this pick whatsoever. I think I'd probably say C. They love drafting wings over there. They love the idea of, again, you just got a bunch of switchable wings and size, and you got a small ball 5 now possibly if you really want to try and push it. Cool. I think it's just like, it's an okay pick. It's not a bad pick per se, but I'm not like, if I'm a Toronto fan, I'm not like, oh my God, we got Colin Murray Boyles, and now we got Brandon Ingram, we've got Scotty Barnes, we can still trade RJ, we've got Quickly, we're about to really see something here. Phoenix. So, I don't know what the hell Phoenix is doing. So Phoenix got, come on, cool. Had that in my mock. makes sense. To me, that's a layup. You then traded for Mark Williams. Okay, that's a little weird, but okay, I guess. You then also gave up another future first rounder. Okay. And now, Kaman, here's the thing. Kaman is meant to be a project piece, right? He's meant to get a year or two and to build up. But Mark Williams is injury prone. Now, I love the fact that they got Mark Williams. It feels a little repetitive now because then you drafted Kaman. But I guess they just love trading for bigs from Charlotte. They just love it. It's just their thing, I guess. So because of that, I'm gonna give them a C. Because the pick itself, I think, is right. But if you didn't make that trade and you didn't give up 29, you could have gotten Liam McNeely too. And then I'm putting you at like a B to an A. Like you got another good wing that can space the floor for Booker. You got a big that can kind of try and grow and do what he needs to do. But then you traded for another big. It feels a little redundant. You then lost your chance at a wing. I'm just a little hard pressed to really like prop up what the Suns did. And then another S tier that I think is extremely easy is the Memphis Grizzlies. These dudes, here's the thing about Memphis. Their front office, in terms of drafting and scouting, they're elite. Like, they are in that top echelon in the current NBA. They just know how to draft talent, and even if the talent itself isn't the best available, they sure as hell know how to develop it to make it look like it. I love this move for Cedric Coward. I love that they basically got rid of Desmond Bane. They kept their picks. They gave up, I think, a 1 future first and a couple seconds. That's not bad. And you got a bunch of firsts from Orlando, so you don't necessarily have to worry about, all of these, nonsensical things. I love this for Memphis. I just do. I was already tuning into Memphis because I'm a Ja guy, even though he's been sort of stinky, but I love that pick for Memphis. Then we got my Chicago Bulls. And I'm going to be honest with you guys. I was terrified. Horrendously. I was shaking in my boots. I thought we were drafting Kasparis. It felt like it was all lining up. The Illinois guy is still there. He's 6'6", so he's not as short as our other guard, so he could be a 3 if he really wants to. We went with the project guy. And Noah Esenge. And I'm going to give us a B. I think I'm not mad at that pick. Obviously, Colin Murray-Boyles not being there, I think that changed how the Bulls sort of went. I do like that now we've kind of got him and Matthias as like our building of pieces, presumably. So I don't think it's terrible at all. I wouldn't go out of my way to be like, oh my God, this is incredible. I wouldn't go out of my way to say, like, what are we doing? Then we got Oklahoma City. I'm giving them boys an S. They've got my guy, Thomas Sorber. I love Thomas Sorber. For me personally, I think he's my favorite center out of this draft. Do I think he's going to be a superstar or something? Not necessarily, but I love his defensive presence. His IQ is off the charts. The rim deterrence is good. He's good at the P&R and getting those extra, passes. And I think with passing bigs like Hartenstein and Chet and then SGA and Jada, I just love this pick because when Hartenstein's contract comes up, you don't have to worry about paying him. You will have Thomas Sorber on his rookie deal. I just think this is like masterclass work again from Sam Presti and the Thunder organization. And then we get it a little interesting. So Portland did their trade and they got Yang Hassan. I apologize if I messed that up. And they win another big. Now, I'm not necessarily mad at that. I think Ayton's at the last year of his deal. But I don't know a lot about this guy. But Portland, I don't think has done a terrible job at drafting. So I'm going to give it a B. I don't think this is terrible. You traded back. That's the other thing. You didn't reach at 11. Although I guess a lot of people call it a reach anyways. But for me, once you're out of the lottery, and I think you all have seen it in the draft board, you kind of get to a crapshoot in some ways. Not that these players are bad, but teams just start going, you know what, we'll do this. We'll do that. Okay, let's roll with this. Oh, we let that guy. He's still here. Cool. You're not necessarily getting the most like high IQ, like we've been planning for this, like we've been waiting. And I think for Portland, they like this guy. And I think they see something different and that can work with the team. So I'm not mad at it. I think as long as you actually move off of Robert Williams, you move off of Ayton, I think it's a decent move. Yeah, me personally, I don't think it's terrible. Then you get to Minnesota. I'm going to give it a C. Because I do like they went center. I'm not sure why you went with the project, because we've already seen with Rob Dillingham and the way that Chris Finch coaches is that these young guys don't get a lot of burn. So now I'm sort of lost on how that's all going. I mean, I guess I like it because he's learning under Rudy. And again, the defense is there. The offense is still extremely limited. I would have probably gone with a Danny Wolf or something like that for this team. Someone who's just more offensively equipped. But again, I understand the pick. I think it's a little odd because you took a project which puts it down for me. So that's where I think I'm going to end up with the Minnesota Timberwolves. Then we get to the Heat. And I'm giving them an S. I'm not a big Kasparis guy personally. I'm not that high on him. But for the value at that pick, when you look at what the team need was, it was a match made in heaven. So to me, you made the obvious choice, and I cannot fault you for that. You did what you needed to do. And to me, that's an S. Like, you lined it up perfectly. You got what you needed, and you moved. The Kings got Nick Clifford from the Thunder, which, by the way, smart move by the Thunder. Otherwise, they would have had to cut 2 players, I believe. So for me, I think this move is I like Nick Clifford, man. I do. I'm going to give the Kings an A. I think that's a good pick for them. I do like that they traded up and they did it late in the draft, so you didn't have to give up as much. I think this is a good move. Then you've got Orlando, who got Jace Richardson. And this one's a little weird, too. So you've got Desmond Bane now. You got Anthony Black. You moved off of Cole Anthony. You moved off of some of these other guys, right? So, okay, cool. You have less guard room. I'm going to give it a B. I think Jace Richardson is a good point guard. I think his shot is really slow for the NBA level, which it concerns me a little bit. I do like his passing and playmaking. His defense is, it's cool. But now you got him and Anthony Black going at the same time. He's really short. I just find it a little odd. But I still like the idea you're still hunting for that guard, and maybe he's that guy. So I can't get mad at that pick. Then we go with Boston getting Hugo Gonzalez. I'm going to just give it a C. I think it's cool. I don't think it's anything terrible. I don't think it's anything mind-boggling incredible. And then you've got the Clippers, who drafted their forward. And let me just make sure, by the way, that Atlanta didn't make a pick. I don't believe they did. They did not. So I think at the end of the day, the Clippers, I'm going to give a C. Like, they picked a cool guy. Again, the second round is still on the way. There are some guys like Rasheer Fleming who are here. But I think at the end of the day, the 6 teams I have in S, I am very strong on staying in S. I'm looking at F. I'm pretty confident in F. C is basically, I like the pick. It's a little odd, though, so it kind of inches me towards F, but then it's also not, like, horrible like the stuff in F is. B is just, you did good. Like, you had a good draft. I wouldn't go out of my way to say you had the greatest draft ever, but you definitely were not losers. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to move the Kings to B. I'm going to move the Hornets to A. And I think the Sixers might go to S. Because now you can also run an idea of McCain at the 6th man. Maybe you bring up the... But yeah. The ranking in the S tier does not matter. Do not worry about that. So let me know what you guys think. Did your team draft someone you wanted? I'm just happy we did not go with Kasparis and draft another guard. As always, guys, this was Emster Knows Hoops. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe. Have a beautiful rest of your day, guys. Peace out.